Good evening. Hi, it's Norma Cowie here once more with Mental Mind Treatments with Psychic Impression. This is our first for 2025. I can't believe already it's the 6th. It seems to me already the months get, moving along. And so I really want to welcome those that have already here and those that are yet to come. So today when I picked out what was the God card that was represented tonight, this is what I got. Light does not struggle with darkness. When I turn on the light, the darkness disappears. And that's this particular card. That's the side. Now, the other side says, what I focus on expands, and the word is made up bigger. I can look for the light instead of the lampshade. I've always liked this one. I'm going to get my finger out of the way and move it right. You can see that. So what does that mean, that I look for the light instead of the lampshade? Very often what happens when things happen to us, we begin to think that all the other bits and pieces around is stopping or blocking what we're wanting, instead of really recognizing that when we are clear within ourselves and we recognize light, which is the God essence, if you will, or for me is always the love essence is represented there. So you concentrate on that rather than what's blocking it. Because what we will see very often is that things get blocked. And we want clarity. And that's one of the reasons for mental mind treatment for these Monday nights, is to have you clarify and get clear of those things that block things that are in the way. So I'm going to start tonight with a couple of people had written things in early, so that kind of helps. And I'm just going to keep on making some notes here for me, so I see that others have too, for whatever. I love this, the way you guys say, whatever comes to you, that's great, which is kind of nice, but, and that works. I just want to go get Karen Marcus's too, because sometimes if they're beginning to fill up, then they zoom down and I don't know where we are. So Marianne puts hers in because I come on usually a little bit earlier now, and I've learned that I can make it so it's sort of on holding and you get to see that I'm coming, which I am. I usually come on actually in myself a little bit before 7 and just kind of wait before I go live at 7. So Marianne has 3 numbers, 3, 17, and 10, and she wants manifesting my heart's desire. This looks very possible, very, very possible, because 3 is the Empress, which is the love vibration, and that's always full. And I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. It's always full and very well. And the star is balance. Thing is about balance is that very often we don't know where we are in the balance game, but it's about balancing your energy. How much do you put out? And this is something that a theme comes up a lot, especially around healing things, is you've got to watch your energy. If you're pouring too much out, or if you're maybe getting hung up on, because here's this manifesting my heart's desire, you're manifesting too much on this, it's not balanced. There's not a balance. And so things get here. But actually what we're seeing here with the 10, it says be like the center, because it's the Wheel of Fortune, of the changes that are going around. What I see here is manifesting my heart's desire, and I'm just going to go into treatment quite quickly for this, actually. It's about balance and not over emphasizing the heart's desire, but rather trusting the change that will bring the heart's desire. So sometimes we think we have to have all the little pieces when we're goal setting, all the pieces in place, and that's really not how the universe likes to work. And that goes back into the light, what it says here about the light. Anyway, let me just do a treatment here. Sorry, my voice was fine till a minute ago. I know there is one power and I know there is one essence, and I speak my word for Marion. As I speak my word for Marion, I know that her heart is full and has love and the emphasis of that. And I also know, like always, is the balancing of the energy, that which we hold within for health, well being, and creating, and that which we put out. And if we put out too much, then we're not in balance. If we put out not enough, then we're not in balance. So it's really about creating that balance. For this is about change. This is about standing in your truth and allowing the wheel of life to bring to you what is required. And sometimes walking that and almost balancing on that wheel of life, which is the wheel of fortune in the tarot, is that it's like holding the vision, but trusting the process. Trusting. It's not that we have to manipulate it. It's not that we have to create it. It's to manifestation is to allow. And in the allowing of it, things come together very, very easily. I give thanks and knowing for Marion that this is knowing what you want, which is manifesting your heart's desire. You know your heart's desire. I think it's about allowing more play, not controlling it, but allowing it, allowing the light, allowing the essence, and creating a balance of your own energy. So it's not, I'm going to use the word interfering. Your own energy is not interfering, but allowing the change to be brought to you. Manifesting your heart's desire is letting go, basically, I guess, be the short way of saying this. I give thanks in this knowledge as I release this thought, knowing it is true and it is done. And so it is. Okay, Karen B. Karen B just gave me 3 numbers. Funny enough, I'm just looking at this. Wheel of Fortune, number 10, 16, and 21. Wheel of Fortune, Tower, and World. The Wheel of Fortune is always about being centered while everything spins around, when you're not maybe absolutely in control of everything. But the Tower means there's situations happening here over which you have no control. And that's about acceptance and letting go. And the world says then to bring everything into balance. And as I move into the vibration of that, because there's 2 massive change cards here. The Wheel of Fortune, where you have to kind of be in the center of the wheel, where everything is going crazy around you. But the Tower comes in sometimes, and it's over which you have no control of. And we do not always know what is our highest and best. One of the prayers I did for many, 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 many years was to pray for my highest and best. And I used to say, I pray for my highest and best, and then I duck. Why do I duck? Is because for my highest and best, sometimes something has to be exposed or shown or be there. And so it would be like, oh my goodness, here, like, because it is a tower that comes, the lightning comes and takes the top off the tower. It's unexpected, things that are unexpected. And it's about accepting and realizing the letting go, because very often what happens when these things occur, like in the Tower, when it comes out of nowhere, is because it wants to expose something, whether it's a trait, whether it's a habit, whether it's a situation that really is not what you perceive, but it exposes. But you got 21, the World, which is about balance. So you've got 2 massive change symbols ending up in balance. So what we're needing and requiring here is a sense of, I'm going to use the word fortitude. The fortitude to know that your highest and best is activated for you. It is there. But sometimes your highest and best, and like I say, I used to pray for my highest and best and duck, because that means the things that are not your highest and best have to be removed, or at least shattered, so you can clear out the debris. And Karen B, this is what I see, is that you have some beliefs in there and they feel old, like maybe you were raised with a certain perception of belief. And I think those need to be looked at to see if they're not holding you back. Because I think they're coming, it's like crash time. It's like saying, look at that. That's not really to your best advantage. I do like the world being here when you're bringing things back into balance and everything is quiet. I think this is temporary, this change, but it's like you still have to go through that, and you still have to take a look clearly and closely. What do I need to let go of? What thoughts are not really in alignment? We talk about light on it, that is not in with alignment with my highest and best, number one. What is not in alignment with my goals of what I'm really wanting to create right now, or my future goals that I'm looking at? I know when I see this. So let's do a mental mind treatment for this, for clarity. I think what we need here is clarity, and also to recognize you're supported. I'm just going to make a note of that. I know there is one power and one essence, and I speak my word for Karen B. I know that life is saying or showing what is not. I'm going to put it a different way. Sorry, I'm going to start again. As I speak my word for Karen B, I know that life is trying to say, because it's trying, this is not the way to think, to go, or to perceive. That balance and understanding your goals can be realized, but perhaps not the way you're going after them. That there is a softer, gentler, easier belief in self, an acceptance of self, an awareness of self as you move forward. This is a self-examination. It's like consciously. It's so funny. I was talking about consciousness to someone today. And it's like, what is the consciousness that you have? What is your thinking? Our consciousness, because especially now with all the goal setting stuff going on and everything, how do we perceive this? How do we think this? What is the end result we want? And sometimes the end result is narrow, not expansive. And the universe likes to work with a little bit of movement and room. I give thanks in knowing at this moment that Karen B needs to just relax and trust the process, that her highest and best, remember those words, highest and best, is always activated. And that there is a letting go here, an allowingness of what it is that she truly desires as she moves forth. And I give thanks in knowing this as I release this, for I know it's true for her. Clarity, which means awareness of your consciousness. The mind is so strong, so important, and so many of us do not have our minds where we really want them to be. Anyway, I give thanks for this as I release this by saying, and so it is. Karen Lee, my dear. I would like a treatment, please, for whatever comes to you with the numbers 5, 15, and 22. Well, 5 is the Hierophant. 15 is the Devil, which is emotion. And 22 is the Fool, which is faith. Okay. This is about knowledge. And we know that you have a certain knowledge. We know you have knowledge. And it's the imparting of the knowledge to others very often, the Hierophant. That's what it is. It is the spiritual teacher imparting knowledge to other people who want it. But with this Devil sitting here, it's like the emotionality sometimes gets in the way. And so it's almost like a tempering of how we dispense of our knowledge. Sometimes when we're dispensing knowledge, we also have to allow for the other person to have an awareness factor as to where that fits in, how that comes into being. And in that awareness factor, this is where faith and trust in the movement forward, which is the Fool is all about faith. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what it looks like, He walks off the edge of that cliff because he understands that. I just feel here there's a little, sometimes we think we have the answers to everything and we believe them, only to find somehow we've missed something. And I'm just going to go back to this. It's so funny. Sometimes these cards that come up, and I can see how the reflection is to on the questions that are asked or wanting and desiring. Light. What is light? It is the knowingness that there is a universal love force. This is my interpretation. There is a universal love force that loves you and wants the best for you. But we have a mind. And this conscious mind of ours is full of everything we've put into it. And very often there's a struggle that goes on in the conscious mind because we've learned the A and we've learned B and we've learned C, and they don't always work together. And the key is I think we need to go deeper as to what we really want to achieve and do and be. And so I'm going to give a treatment, and I'm going to allow the energy to come through on this for Karen Lee. Not just my brain in there. I know there is one power and there's one essence as I speak my word for Karen Lee. And as I speak my word for Karen Lee, I know that there is so much information that she has. I almost feel overloaded by information, actually, and wanting to impart it, wanting to be. But at the same point, is that information being applied to self? Is that information being there because it is the faith that you have in what you want to achieve is where the knowledge and the knowing that you have as you dispense the awareness will take you where it is. Very often we dispense knowledge, which is basically what I do here in lots of ways. And people kind of go, oh yeah, right, whatever. But having the faith that the person will eventually interpret it when they are ready. I'm just going to deviate a little bit to explain something. In the clearing work I've done for many years now, very often when we clear something out, the person's consciousness has to be ready to accept what I've said or what I've cleared. Or otherwise our habits, lately it's really come back about habits. Our habits take over. And so often I find, and this has happened recently, I had to go back and redo several things because the person's consciousness got in the way. And her habits of thinking obliterated, not all of what I'd done, but several things of what I'd done. And sometimes that's because I don't always explain how everything works because I somehow think people know a little bit more than what. And sometimes it's really important to explain basics. Basics are the cornerstone from which you work. And here, Karen Lee, it's like you have the basics, but how do you dispense the basics? Do you dispense the basics like, I know what it is and this is what you should do? Or suggest might be an idea to do this or that or the other. A lighter hand is what I'm hearing, and that's where the light comes in. A lighter hand, not to say this is how you're supposed to do it, because there is no has to be a certain way, because everyone's a little different. Everyone's adjusting to somebody else that's inside, beliefs, attitudes, and judgments that we've been raised with. Or created or come along from somebody else, all of that. But by having faith and going gently, that's what my word would be here for you, is go gentle. There's a saying, something about speak softly into the night or something. I don't know, just what I'm hearing about the night. Go softly into the night, gently. What I would find that it would make it easier for you so there's no so much emotionality about results. We're not always here for results, which is annoying sometimes. I must admit, when we're looking for a result and it doesn't seem to happen, or it doesn't happen exactly the way we want it to happen. But it's about allowing and having faith and knowing people are smart. if we just give them room enough to be able to put the jigsaw puzzles together sometimes. They just need a little pushing. Now, I give thanks in knowing this. I give thanks in knowing that Karen Lee understands and has the awareness of where and what and how one is. I'm going to use the word handled, because when you're dealing with somebody who's coming for information, you got to make sure that it is workable. It fits in with where they're at, because very often we will try and state what we believe, what we think is right. It may not be exactly what they need to hear. I give thanks in knowing that Karen Lee has the strength, the persistence, and the perseverance in particular to be as the fool, to have faith that the result that she wants, and that she brings light, not the struggle, but the light to each and every person. I give thanks in this as I release this, knowing it is be true and it is done. And so it is. Okay, we're going now to Karen Marcus. Greetings, whatever you see, many thanks. And we got 13, 22, and 19. So I'm just going to put this death. There's the fool. And there's the sun. Oh, wow. Okay, my girl. Change, reprogress, growth, having faith, moving into newness. Now we've known for 2 years, you're in transition. You're in change. I feel like you still got the death symbol there, but it feels like I'm much closer to the edge of the newness. I'm much closer. And that's where the fool comes in, of having faith to step off all the old thinking and programming and placing and move into newness and awareness. And when we talk about light, is to know the light is with you. If I have a picture, as I know you live high up in your high tower there, as you step off with lots of faith and love underneath your feet, that is the fool saying, I know and I trust and I am there. And as you move forward in that sun, it's like embracing newness, embracing life, embracing the sun in full force. That's what the sun is about. It's about stepping away from the past. Death is when we come out of the old with faith, with love, with understanding. And 19 says we embrace the newness because we are reborn. In other words, we have new ideas. We have new concepts. We're not pulled back. See, very often when we have a change happening, we end up pulling back into the old beliefs, attitudes, and judgments. They sit in our subconscious mind. Always remember, your subconscious holds all your beliefs, attitudes, and judgments. And if you don't clean that up, you can stop using your consciousness first, but if you don't go deep enough, and that was one of the things that I worked on for years, is to find a way, until finally I was showing how to actually unplug some of these belief, attitudes, and judgments from the subconscious mind. Our growth, our progress occurs through the years of moving through and transforming our programming in the subconscious mind. And I just believe, Karen, you're right on the precipice of that, where it's not about leaving the old behind. It's about totally embracing the new that you are. It's like a new dawn. It's a new year. So it's a new dawn, a new day. And I give thanks in knowing that Karen is moving forward with strength. And there's a delightfulness in this. It's almost like skipping down the road like a little kid. It feels enthusiastic, it feels alive, and it feels brilliant. Moving into the unknown, but having faith that where you put your feet will be supported. Wherever the feet go is supported easily, and that you can move forward in understanding, strength, and being. And I give thanks as I release this thought, knowing that for Karen, she is on her way to newness, joy, love, and light. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so let's say, Marie, my darling, how are you? Happy New Year. Hang on, I've got to go back up there. Good evening, Norma, everyone. My numbers for today are 6, 12, and 18. Okay. So we've got the Lovers, the Hangman, and the Moon. 2 emotional cards out of 3. 6 is the Lovers, but it's emotional. 12 is the Hangman, which is acceptance. 18 is the Moon, which is very emotional. It's a self-deceptive in a way. So let me just see how I want to put these together. Because I know Marie's energy quite well. And I'm talking about the conscious mind a lot tonight. So I want to go there first. The conscious mind can be devious because it's got access to all that subconscious stuff that's going on. And we have levels and levels and levels. And I know I myself have to watch sometimes because I spent a lot of years not being secure in myself at all, not believing, not trusting, figuring that I was wrong, never mind anybody else. But I just was, what did you call it? Have an inferiority complex, big time. So I know how the subconscious can be elusive. You can think I've got it figured out. I know where I'm heading. I know where I'm going. And then all of a sudden these little thoughts or feelings, maybe they're more feelings that creep in that sort of confuse things, just like a shadow that confuses. So I'm better being 100% sure that we're on the right path, we're doing the right thing, we're going on. And I don't really like using the word right, but it seemed applicable there. And so the acceptance that we are in transition. I think this time, because if I remember the readings we've done in the last while, there's been a transitional element here of you making choices and moving forward. I think this whole thing is about you in transition. And what you need to do is not let the fear of something not being the way you want it to be to take over. The moon is like a reflected light. It is not bright light. When we talk about light, it's not a bright light. It's a reflected light. It's a deceptive light, actually. It's whether sometimes when we'll believe A, when we really need to be maybe believing B, or vice versa. So let me just move into treatment with this. I know there is one power in one essence, and I know that Marie is totally blessed with connection, with love, with guides that are strong, secure in the awareness. But I also know on the human side that very often that the emotionality of who we are and where we're going and what's happening gets confusing. And therefore, it is the acceptance of what our basic goals are. Where and what do we really want to achieve? Where is that end line? What is it we're really wanting to achieve here? Because when we get into a little bit of uncertainty and deception of what it really is, and it can be like, oh, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, but what that means, it's not grounded. There's a lot of stuff in here not grounded, and it's really about acceptance of just what is. And it brings me back to the little card. Light does not struggle with darkness. Because when I turn on the light, the darkness disappears. So what I focus on expands. So when going back to that, what are you expanding on? What are you looking at? Fear, anxiety, frustration? Shut it down. Know your goal. What is the end result that we're wanting here? Because I see a light, like a bright star, shining and waiting to be grabbed to say, yes, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm going and what I'm doing. Where there is light, there is love, there is vision. Just watch your vision. Watch the thoughts. Make sure that they're really creating what you want and not getting confused. acceptance of what is, and then the realization of where you want to be. I give thanks in knowing that Marie is admitting clarity again. We're looking for clarity tonight in lots of places as you move forward with love and light and awareness. And so it is. Amen. Ashika here. ISH is 7, 11, and 12. Prayer for miraculous recovery of my knees, hip, and lower back. Yeah, okay, we keep working away with that, don't we? So it's leaving behind the old with the 7. That's the Chariot. 12 is acceptance again. And 11 is, to me, is to decision. You know, sometimes these health issues take time. I used to always say, because I've had a lot to do with different health issues over my life out as well, time is my friend. There's lots of time. And very often when we have a chronic thing that doesn't seem to be getting better or kind of stationary, we forget the element of time. Some things take time and the movement through time. I think there is a need here, if I may say so, is to re-examine the goals that you have for your own personal growth. Yes, we want the knees, the back, and the hips and everything to work well. That's your physical goals. But what about the inner goals? Where are you wanting to create and move? Because what I see here is that you need to make a decision in relation to your life. Are you going to be a survivor? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to work through all these pains and aches and everything else? Or are you going to make them bigger than you? The idea here is through acceptance is putting them back over there. This is just something you live with right now. Doesn't mean you always will. But I really feel here is that you need to really make an effort to leave that not to be your main focus, but maybe have inner strength, have inner purpose, have an awareness of this light that we talk about. Well, I talk about the love force to bring it into yourself so that there is an awareness, and only you can make that decision. Only you can decide this is what I want to do. You can say, yes, I'm choosing that, but are you really? Are you really choosing that? I just see here. So anyway, let me give a treatment where making a decision will bring about a little ease. Knowing there is one power in essence, I speak my word for Ashika. Knowing that by acceptance of the conditions and the realization that the internal emotional self and mental also grows and has a growth factor still going on. There is progress, there is ease, there is delightfulness, there's a movement forward. I give thanks in knowing that Ashika has a choice here. I think the choice is being made, but really it's the movement now into the belief structure of knowing, yes, I can do this. I can bring forward those things that I truly want to bring forward to. So it's a little shift of emphasis, not on the aches and pains, but on the value of life, that which makes you happy, that when you look at a beautiful scene and it warms your heart, when you have goals that you want to acquire and you can think about those and they make you feel, yes, that's where I'm heading towards. You need vision to see the direction you're going in, vision to not only decide that's what I want, but commit to that's what you want. Commitment is really big when you want to create change. First, you make the decision, then you make the commitment. And that's that number 11, that commitment to this. And you need to accept that. Your life is changing, but you're going to have to change how you think, how you perceive. How much time do you spend in worrying about all the aches and pains, and how much about the direction that you want to go in? I give thanks in knowing this. I give thanks in knowing you have the power, the strength, the love, and the awareness to move forward. And so I just say, and so it is. Amen. Murray says, oh, your friend John. Okay. And his numbers today are 9, 10, and 11. Were they that last time? Let me just look back. No, 1, 11, and 20. No, that's not the ones. 3, 2, 1. Oh, well, we're improving here. We're getting into the next 3. So, sorry, I'm thinking here. 10 means change, right? The Wheel of Fortune. 9 means the answer lies within. And 11 is the commitment to this. Okay. When the answer lies within, sometimes we have to put to rest that which has come before. In other words, things that haven't worked, sadness, grief, all those different things that have come before. Because the answer, like, we have to put them to bed, rest. We have to put them to bed. And we have to say bye-bye. Sometimes we just have to let them go. That was what? It's kind of if you see my hand, it goes backwards. That was what it was. It's not what it is. It's not what's coming. What's coming is change. And therefore, you need to set your goals of what you're wanting to create. Doesn't matter how small or big they are, they're your goals. And to make the commitment of moving forward. Now, I've talked about this before often, but it's worth repeating. In number 2, the high priestess, we make a decision of what we want to do. In number 11, which is the higher value of 2, because 1 and 1 make 2, we decide, we commit. We've made the decision, now we commit. We commit to it. We do the action. And one way I teach this is like saying, you want to go on a trip, until you buy the ticket, you're not committed. You've got to make a step to commit. And that means there needs some energy here. It's not just a mental thing. It's about letting go of the past, being where you are, and committing to your future in the direction of where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you want to get there. So I know there is one power and there is one essence. I know that when it comes for John, this is about listening to yourself of what you really want and knowing that with your resilience and the awareness of movement, of taking action is very important. And committing to that action, we see growth, progress, and reward. I give thanks in the knowing of this. It just seems everything opens up. I feel much better inside. I think everything is moving in the right direction. I give thanks and awareness for John's growth, progress, and happiness, actually. And I'm just going to say, and so it is. And Karen says, thank you. Such great explanation for everyone's mission. I find that very helpful. I'm glad. Well, that's what I want to do, is be helpful here. A new year seems as I'm pretty a little late. In some ways, I can't believe it. It's already the 6th. It's like everything is beginning. I do want to say this too, by the way. Next month, Saturday, February the 16th, I have a special channeling your guide for you. I actually had somebody who'd gone on my webpage, read my newsletter for the next few months, and it signed up for this. So I went, I should mention that. And so that's Saturday the 16th. So if you wanted to have your guide channeled to you, then just let me know through emails. You can always contact me through the website, normacowie.com for sure. Okay, let's see what else. Marion says, thank you so much. And I thank you, because without you guys showing up on a Monday night, I'd be sitting here twiddling my thumbs, wondering what on earth I'm doing, for sure. It's an interesting year this year, and it's going to be fun just from my perspective, to see how it evolves. I know I did my reading for myself, and my reading for myself, thank goodness, is so much different than last year's. Much more positive, much more reinforcement. And if you remember, last year was tough for me health wise. So I'm very, very happy about that. So we just keep on chugging along and doing what we can. So I also want to say thank you. I see some of you have given me thumbs up. Thank you for your thumbs up. Very often I get comments, get sent email to me from this, and I say thanks for the comments. And also thank you for subscribing. It's so interesting watching, subscriptions up, subscriptions down a little bit. There's a kind of a mixture going on at times. And I understand that. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I do enjoy what I'm doing. And then, of course, I have many people saying, oh, sign up for this and we'll get you whatever. And it's, well, I just like doing what I do. So I'm kind of not as, but I am, because of everything changing, I'm really working at making sure things are good. So there's lots of pluses happening, and I'm very excited about that. And I trust you will be too. I trust you've done your goal setting. I did my reading, and then I did my goals for next year. Not too many of them. Sometimes I overgrade. So think about that. What are my goals for the year? It's a whole year, 12 months. Lots of changes can happen. In the meantime, I think I got everybody here. I think we're all good. Mary says, thank you. I think I'm all good. And I just want to thank each one of you for being supportive, for showing up every Monday night, and maybe telling your friends about it, because we do get new people every now and again. And I just love it. It's my favorite of all the 3 shows I do. It's my favorite. And that's because it's personal and it's involved. So it makes me think about other things. Wishing you well. I shall be back Monday night, but I'll also be my first Wednesday morning, this coming Wednesday. And guess that I'll have to do a reading for the month or something. See what's going on there. I'm sure something will evolve. And then, of course, a Sunday thought, talking a lot about goal setting. And I find that people don't always understand what goal setting is, but that's for another day. You have fun, enjoy, blessings, create the newness that you're all looking towards. And I'll just say night for now. Bye.